Hello and welcome to yet another year of the Festivus show here on the DC Crossover. I am Ben Simpson. That is Mike Cerrone. Glad to have you join us on this holiday season. Might as well get the Christmas music going in the background. Didn't want to blast it through. If you have... Mike's living in some Halloween time of year behind Mike.
It's gonna piss me off.
We got a lot to get to on tonight's program. If this is your first time joining us on a Festivus show, this is a pretty laid back show. We like to talk a little bit about some grievances. We'll talk a little bit, sports resolutions, if you will, and get into a lot of different stuff here tonight. I got some lists I want us to discuss. But it's been 2-3 weeks since we've done a show together. We both had solo show weeks, and now we're back. It's the Festivus spirit that brings us back together on the air.
I think this is the fourth week in a row fourth week since we have done a show together. Because, of course, you were sick, then I was sick, and then you were sick again, and you're still sick. And
I've got my inhaler here.
As your head turned, I can just tell by your kind of crazy hair. That you're just not doing well.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not doing well. I've got my albuterol sulfate inhaler, which really doesn't do a whole lot for me. They were like, "Here, just take this. This will help out." But right now, it's been pretty much, every couple hours, I'll wake up in a coughing fit in the middle of the night. That's fun. And then almost puke, and then try to fall back asleep. So it's been going great, having a great time here.
Hey, have you done the telehealth thing, the new revelation of telehealth? Oh my God!
I know. I
think he's dead.
No, I haven't done the telehealth. I remember you telling us on this program about.
Oh my God!
I'm so sorry. I will do my best to not cough directly into the microphone tonight. I remember you telling us about the guy who prescribed you something after a 10-second conversation on telehealth or something like that.
Yeah. The first time I did it was last year, and my insurance, I don't know if it's every insurance or what, but when you call the insurance, you look at the app and it says, hey, you qualify or whatever for telehealth. Right. And I go on there. And the guy's like, hey, I'll call you in 10 minutes or whatever, and this is my doctor or whatever, my credentials. And then he sits there and says, hello, this is blah, blah, blah. And
so are you on a Zoom at this point, or is it just all over the phone?
You can do video, I think, because they might. Sometimes if you want to really get into it, this lamp is going to kill me all day.
Yeah. In case you have you're really showing here's where I'm injured. Yeah. And, you're showing it on the camera.
So you can do that. But I don't do that because that's kind of creepy.
You stick your tongue out up to the camera, are you looking down at my tonsils or whatever?
And I ended up last year. He's told me his background or whatever. I guess to prove it. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Right. But then he ended up saying,
I'm a doctor. Okay, I promise.
And then he ended up saying that, it sounds like you have a bacteria thing, whatever, blah blah blah. Here's a prescription for that, and it was basically so you don't have to crowd the doctor's offices because
makes sense.
If you have I'm sorry, this lamp.
You're getting the angels are coming through the window or something over there.
I mean, it was perfectly fine, right? I don't know what it is. I changed the bulb and stuff like that, and it's a brand new lamp. Anyways, so
we're off to a roaring start.
I'm gonna have to turn it off at some point. I'm gonna have to start drinking. So basically, this time I said whatever. I called. They said, all right, we'll call you back in 10 minutes, and it lasted probably 5 minutes. Now he told me that. It doesn't sound like a bacterial thing because of this or that. So he ended up giving me these cough pill things and some Flonase or whatever.
Okay.
And I was like, whatever. Granted, I think it was just a bad cold, but it's okay. I'm fine for the most part now. Yeah, I've coughed every now and then, but it's just me getting over it. But the telehealth thing is awesome because you don't have to go to patient first or whatever,
right?
And then have to basically sit in that line and have to squeeze into the chair because the person next to you is literally puking.
Well, if you want to hear about patient first.
Oh boy.
So this morning, I'm off this week, as I know you are.
I'm eating one of the holiday festive cookies.
Oh, there you go. So I'm off this week, and so today I was off. Abby and Lucy, we all were off. So we're just hanging out in this morning time, just hanging out. I get a call from my brother on the house phone. from my parents' house. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, why isn't he calling me from his cell? And long story short, so he dislocated his shoulder like a month ago, and I guess it popped back out this morning. And my dad is at work, so I'm the only one that could take him. So I have to drive the 20, 25 minutes to their house, pick him up. He's screaming at me like, pop it back in. I'm like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to pop it back in. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Hit it. Because I guess he's in like a ton of pain. I was like, I don't know what to do, man. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to go to the emergency room because with the emergency room, you're waiting there for hours for anything to happen. So I was like, you know what? I'll go to patient first because I'm like, hey, I mean, they're doctors there. They should be able to just pop this sucker back in.
They should.
So I walk into patient first. There's probably 30 people in the waiting room.
Yeah.
They all have masks on. They're all looking worried because my brother's walking in. He's like holding his arm and he's like moaning and groaning. He just keeps going like, oh. And he's like head down. Like he sits in one of the chairs and he's got his like head down and he's holding his shoulder and he's like groaning and moaning. The rest of the place is completely silent. But he's making the noise, and I'm having to sit next to him, and everyone's clearly nobody knows like what's going on with this guy. They think like, is this guy on like meth?
When was this again?
Is he like today, this morning? So they're like, is this guy on meth? Is he on like, is he gonna puke everywhere? Like, what's going on with this
While
dude?
he's in there, can I get checked too?
And I'm like, well, yeah, I know I should have been like, yeah, while you're at it. But like, and so I'm having to like be, and the way these patient first work is, it's like, all right, first you check in on a little computer iPad thing that's at the front. And then you sit down, and then you go into the secondary check-in where, like, a nurse calls you up to a window, and they're like, show me your license, show me your this. So I'm the one having to do this. And they're like, oh, well, he has to be the one to sign it since he's a patient. So I have to get the paper, walk across the waiting room over to this guy who's like, you know, like, and I have to be like, can you sign this, buddy? And, like,
with your bad hand?
So he had to sign it, and then, like, I walk it all the way back. And then, like, they're like, well, we need a credit card on file. So I'm like, I guess I'm the one paying for this. And so I swipe it. And then after you do that, they're like, all right, go ahead and take a seat back. We'll call you back when you're ready. So now you're waiting even more time. And, dude, there's nothing for me. I'm a guy who I hate public attention if I'm, like, out and about or something like that. Like, I don't want anybody looking over at me. But I can't. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm in this waiting room. Everyone else is just staring at us. And he's just moaning and groaning. And, like, it's getting louder and louder. And it's like, oh, my God, this is not going to be good. So then they call us back, and they're like, all right, let's just get his vitals. And then they, like, take his weight and his height. And meanwhile, he's, like, bent over. It's like, yeah, I guess he's this 4 feet tall. And then they're like, all right, we'll call you back when we have a room now. And it's like, oh, my God, what is with this process? Why are we going through 4 different things? And, like, clearly he's in pain. And then finally they call us back to a room. And they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, like, we can't put any shoulders back in here. And they're like... my brother and I both were like, what are you talking about? Like, can't you just pop it back in? And they're like, nah, you got to do that in the emergency room. We can give him a pain shot, but then you got to go to the emergency room. So then I had to like, and he's pissed, but it's like, all right, it is what it is. And then so I have to get him back into the car and drive over to Reston Hospital, which luckily my dad had left work and met me there. And so I was able to just kind of hand him off to my dad. I was like, I'm gone. I'll see you. Like, I did my job. But, but these places, it's like, 4 different check-ins, and like it's just crazy. Like you said, that's why telehealth and stuff like that is a better option, because any of these places, even if it's a light day there, I mean, you're still waiting minimum like half hour before you're getting to actually talk to a doctor for the most part.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that is when you go to patient first. Now, which patient first was this? Was this in Chantilly?
No. This was over by my folks, so it was like office. It's the one off of 7.
That one by the 7-Eleven.
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that one.
I've been to that one a few different times, but that one. But I usually go when there's no one going to be there. But of course, this is like the holiday season where everyone's sick and all that kind of stuff. Right. But the funny thing about that is that when I ended up going the last time, I was like the only one in there, and like they made me wait like 10 minutes. I'm like, what are we doing here?
It's insane. It's crazy, but. That was my patient first whatever experience today. So
hey, when your brother's sitting there moaning and groaning and people are looking at you, that's when you say, I don't know what's wrong with him.
Yeah, I was like, dude, it was literally like I was getting embarrassed. Like I was pulling my hat down, just like, oh my god.
That's when you start making up stories.
I know. I almost wanted to stand up and just be like,
fell
it's
off
just
a
a
mountain.
shoulder, just a shoulder here. He's not gonna like puke everywhere or anything like that. He'll be all right. But it was a very chaotic morning for me. That's for sure.
And why did he call you? Were you the only one available?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because
my dad works downtown, so like he was in
Right,
DC,
right.
and like my other sibling were far away.
Yeah, but I didn't know if there was like a friend or something like that he could have called and said, "Hey, my brother's on antibiotics.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Can someone else help me?"
You would hope, yeah. But like, no, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. But that, alas, we made it here to the Festivus show. There's a lot I want to groan and gripe about on this episode. But as we do every Festivus show, we might as well start it out. As you take a sip.
What?
Nothing. It's a card from my dad.
Dear son, happy Festivus? What is Festivus?
It's nothing. It's not.
When George was growing
Jerry,
up,
no.
his father hated all the commercial and religious aspects of Christmas,
Yeah.
so he made up his own holiday. Happy Festivus. What's Festivus? When George was growing up, his father...
Nothing. It's nothing. It's a stupid holiday my father invented. It doesn't exist.
Happy Festivus, Georgie.
A new holiday was born. A Festivus for the rest of us. And at the Festivus dinner, you gather your family around and tell them all the ways they have disappointed you over the past year.
And is there a tree?
No, instead there's a pole. Requires no decoration. I find tinsel distracting.
Is that the pole?
George, Festivus is your heritage. It's part of who you are.
That's why I hate it.
The Festivus show, the airing of the grievances on tonight's program. And it's funny because on my list was any sort of medical waiting room. That was on my grievance list. But I'll start off with one. You can kind of go back and forth and kind of see what we got. My first grievance, silent Ubers. And here's what I mean.
Ooh.
I don't mean I prefer an Uber ride where the guy's like a chatterbox. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm talking about when you get into that Uber and it's silent guy, no music playing, no radio playing. It's just you're breathing and the driver's breathing. And that is what my biggest pet peeve.
The driver's breathing.
Because it's already kind of, I always feel weird about the Uber situation as it is sometimes because like, I don't know. You're just kind of like, all right, I'm just with this random stranger is giving me a ride to like my buddy's house, and like he could pull off the side of the road and murder me at any second. But like what I hate is, a silent Uber ride, just to me makes everything just tremendously more awkward. Like I make a point when I get in the Uber, I'm like, hey, feel free to play whatever you want. I always go like, hey, you put on the radio, whatever you want to do. One guy decided to take his phone out. It wasn't Bluetooth to the car. It was just his phone in his hand. He went to YouTube, found like a music video from like, I don't know, some country that ends in Stan. And and he starts playing the song like it's a 3-minute song. And then he rewinds it back to the beginning and plays it again. And he does that the entire car ride to the airport. So 15 times. And keep in mind, he'd run into YouTube commercials because he's not paying for YouTube Premium. And so literally I'm having to hear like the same song 15 times on the airport off of his phone. It's not even coming through the car speakers. That was a wild experience. But yeah, the guys that keep things silent. Like one of the guys I was like, hey, put on whatever you want. He was like, yeah, okay. And then he didn't touch the radio. He was it's just like, and then you just feel so weird about it.
All right, thanks.
Also, it's always weird if like somebody calls you while you're in the Uber and you're like trying to like talk quiet, like, hey, I can't talk right now. It's because you're like, I don't want this guy to know my life.
This guy's
But
listening.
Silent Ubers, that is a big grievance of mine.
I do think that so I've had a few silent Ubers. Now, I've had some dangerous ones too. There was one time I was in an Uber and I felt like we were like Ashley Force. You ever heard of the Forces, the drag racers, the Force family?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I think they used to have a TV show or something like that.
Right.
I think it was John Force or whatever. And then like his daughter Ashley or something like that. This guy felt like he was in that family because I was in a different state and we're going down this straightaway at like 1 a.m. and he just guns it. And I'm talking about gunning it. I mean, it was silent to the point where I could hear the RPMs like getting to the red line.
Right. Oh no.
And I'm like, can we like chill out a little bit, sir? He was like, okay. And then all of a sudden he just kept going. And then we went into, I don't think I've ever gone into a roundabout faster than I did that night. We went into a roundabout. I thought he was going through the roundabout because he was going that fast.
Straight up the middle.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I grounded right up the middle. I mean, literally, it was so fast. And I don't know. I've had a lot of bad experiences with Uber, and that's one of my grievances, which I'll get to here in a minute. I'll get to it in a couple grievances.
I think yours is probably the same one that's on mine that I have later on.
Yes, yeah. We might have to. You might have to lead that one off.
Yeah.
So, basically, I just think that when it comes to Ubers, you have to be personable because
sure.
I've been in Ubers before where people have had like water bottles in the back saying, "Hey, if you want a water, you can have."
Oh
some.
Yeah, that's big. That's big time customer service there.
Yeah, and you get in and they have nice mats and they're clean, and you can tell that they go and they vacuum it like know for like a couple minutes every day or whatever. And basically, what they do is, if you want to talk to them, you can, but you don't have to. But the thing is, you always have to have music on like level 6. Or something like that, level 7.
Right.
Break the tension, something like that. If the person doesn't want to talk, if they're an asshole or whatever, I'll say it. Whatever, it's Festivus.
It's a Festivus show.
Yeah. If they're gonna be like that, then okay, turn the music up a little bit more. Like so, here's something. I used to basically do this part time at Enterprise.
Right.
So when I used to do Enterprise, we'll pick you up. We literally pick people up.
Right.
And I was doing it part-time during college and all that stuff, and it wasn't a bad job or anything like that. But the biggest thing about it was you always have to have something ready to go. You can't sit there and turn the radio on when someone's quiet. And obviously, when we were picking people up, most of the time they were pissed off because their cars got in an accident.
Yeah, their car just broke down or whatever.
Or they
on
flew
the side
through
of
a
95.
House. Yeah, or something of that nature, to the point where they're pissed off. So literally, I had to always, and I used to make up stories, dude. Like someone would say like, yeah, my daughter just graduated from Yale. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm an Ivy League guy, too.
Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah, I've got 5 kids through the program as well.
Yeah. I would say
really?
stuff like they would describe their accident, and I would describe a very similar accident that happened to a friend of mine, quote unquote. And stuff like that. But you have to have something ready. And the Uber drivers, like I said, that are always prepared. They got some water. Say, hey, how you guys doing today? Where you guys headed to for the airport or whatever? You go business or pleasure or something like that.
Yeah, see, that's fine. I'm fine with some small talk. Like, that's fine with me. I'm always down for it. It's the people that, like I was in an Uber in like Austin, Texas, and it's funny because friend of the program, Ian Holleran, remembers this one, and like we were in the Uber and the guys were just like, I mean, it's like late. We're clearly like blitzed out of our minds, and like this guy starts telling us about his like son like killed himself the day before or something. We're like, oh, I can't. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. But anyways,
you should be driving, sir.
But yeah, it was like, what are we talking about here? Like he and I were both like drunk. It's 1 a.m. We're in Austin, Texas, and this Uber driver's like, and then we had another driver in Austin who kept playing music on in the car, and they would turn to us and be like, "Do you guys know who that is?" We were like, "No, I've never heard of that guy." He's like, "That's my son." And then he showed, and like literally, I still follow the guy's Instagram account to this day, his son's Instagram account, for his music, because I was like, sure, I'll follow it. Like, I don't give a crap. Vic Vase, it's on Instagram, if anyone wants to follow him. Has 1,000 followers, so clearly has not taken off in the 6 years since I started following. But yeah.
6 years, my God.
But yeah, Ubers in general, there's so many different ways it can go sideways, but as you said, the pros out there, the ones that have been doing it a long time, like, hey, you don't have to necessarily throw out all the stops. You don't have to necessarily have like candy hanging from the ceiling or whatever, but you just have a clean car, you got maybe a water bottle or two, you get some polite small talk, and you get me to where I need to go. 5 stars, not a problem. It's rare for me to go below 5 stars. Somebody has to really screw up for me to be like, all right, I'm giving you 3 stars for this ride or whatever. Right.
I mean, there has been, and they've obviously, I guess you could say, upticked their requirements for people. Like,
yeah, it used to be as long as you had a license, you could just like drive Uber whenever you wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have an old beater. And you can't have a suspended license and all this different kind of stuff or whatever. You can't be a criminal. This guy's robbing a bank while he's taking me home. But that's the biggest thing when it comes down to Uber drivers, dude. Is just like once in a while you can also tell what kind of car they're driving. Also, you can tell how they look in their picture. Like if they look like they want to jump off a building, then maybe that probably isn't the Uber for you.
No,
I mean, literally,
that's a cancel. That's a cancel for sure.
There's some weird people out there, man. All right, so my next grievance, is, and it's probably my grievance every day, is bad beats. So
I knew you were gonna say that. This was. I took the definitely took the odds on this, on Mike complaining about his bets.
So, I looked at the Pickett app, and obviously the Pickett app has your year in review.
That is a sad thing to look at when you look upon it and you go through your year in review. There's usually some sad numbers on there.
So I went in my year in review, and the problem is they did the year in review too fast because I've already had about 3 or 4 more single leg parlay losses, like last night, because Austin Reeves decided to go 4 for 9 and only hit 11 points, so I needed him to get 12. And I lost a one thing parlay for that one play. So my year in review said a year of close calls. Now the thing about it is when it comes down to parlays, that's my thing. Now I have a different strategy come this next year because I wanted to keep track and everything like that.
Sure.
Where I already told our buddy Dan that what I want to do is have 1 day or 2 days out of the week where I just do singles. I don't do any parlays. I just do singles. And I'm becoming more of a degenerate gambler where when I look at the Pickett app and I look at my month, I just see a bunch of red, and it's almost every single day because I'm putting bets in every day. Like this past month has been bad. Yeah. So a year of close calls. So I went on the app and I looked at it, and I was like, when you showed me yours, I was like, if that's yours, mine's not going to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because your unit is bigger than. Well, I don't want to say that. Your betting unit is bigger than mine, and and also I had only started betting because I was not betting at the beginning of the year when we were trying to buy the house. So my stats were like halfway through the year basically. But yeah, so I knew your number would definitely be bigger as far as the missed money.
Yes. So the problem is that when I looked at it, I was up a decent amount. Now recently I've had a couple bad months or so. Yeah. I've won here and there, but they haven't really helped me out that much. So when you look at and because you sent it out, I was I was waiting for this slide to come up.
Right.
A year of close calls. It's always the last leg. Here are the number of parlays that you missed by 1 leg in 2023.
All right, so let me. So I remember you showing this, but I don't remember the number. Okay. So I'm going to
remember. This is for everybody out there. I 95% of the time do parlays only.
Yeah, right. You do a lot of these. So this is the number of parlays that you missed this year by 1 leg.
Yes.
I mean, I gotta think, and we're usually talking about on a good Saturday, football Saturday. I mean, you're throwing out 5-6 parlays in a day sometimes. So I'm gonna go big.
You also have to think about this. I was talking about this to myself the other day,
sure.
Thinking about how many I've actually done in a year. And during golf season, I don't really bet on the baseball season.
Sure.
So during golf, I only do.
That's true.
During the weekend, pretty much.
Right. So I'll go. This may be low, but I'll say a good 400.
400 parlays missed by 1 leg?
Is that way too high?
400?
Yeah.
There's only 365 days in a year.
Well, you probably missed multiple parlays in a night.
Yeah, but not by 1. This is just by 1.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I'll cut that in half. 200.
Okay, a little bit less than that, but 155.
Right, okay.
Now, I've probably lost about 3 or 4 since I looked at this, so it's probably up to near 160.
Okay.
The almost earned profit.
Oof, that's a tough one.
Was $17,000. $17,000.
That would have been nice.
And if I did the math, if I literally won maybe 20 of those 155, right. I'd have $2,000.
Yeah.
Or
the house always wins, my friend. The house always wins.
Oh my God. I can't.
That is tough.
And it's bad because it's not only me just losing and getting a little irritated. It's Jess who tails it, and then she gets irritated, saying you always lose. And it's the problem is when she says that, it makes me want to throw my TV through a wall.
Right.
Because then it makes me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Even though when you do the research for instance, Austin Reeves. I mean, last night I said 12 plus points. His line, I think, was 14.5. So the over-under was 14.5. So I declined 2.5 points just to do 12.5 because he had 10, like 20, 20, 19, and like 16 or whatever. The last 5 games or whatever it was. So he was on point. He's been on fire lately. And, of course, last night they play him like 3 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Right.
And then, of course, the announcer was like, he plays so well with LeBron. I don't know why they don't have him in. I'm like, okay, great. Like, this is perfect. And then he shoots one basket, makes a nice turnaround jumper, and shoots 1 3 the rest of the game. And I was like, great.
The parlays are a cruel mistress, man. They really are. I mean, you can have everything going for you, and then one guy goes 5 yards short. I mean, anybody, any serious bettor can recall, I missed this parlay by 2 yards or like by one rebound or
going along
whatever.
with that. What you just said, I literally was about to mention that.
Yeah.
So again, on here, 155 missed by one leg. A third of those, okay, a little over a third, I should say, says, let's take a look of what could have been.
Right.
56 straight bets and parlay legs were missed by just half a point, half a reception, or other.
That's tough.
Half, which means
tough.
one more. That's the thing that gets me, man, is especially when you see like Travis Kelce yesterday. The first quarter, he dropped like 3 balls or something like that.
Right.
And of course, my bet loses by 1 catch. Like, it's just, and it's just the craziest thing in the world, man. It's just like, I do, and I have golf bets here where it says that whole entire thing. The pick of that was fun to look at,
right?
But it was, I mean, for me,
that it can be tough. Like when it's the same thing. Like I feel like it's the same thing back in the day when you'd be like afraid to check your bank account because you're like, I know I don't have any money because like like in your college or whatever, you're like I'm like broke right now, so like you don't want to check it, even though you probably should check it to see how much money you have. It's the same thing with the betting stuff where you're like, all right, I should check this to see just how much I've been losing lately, but I don't want to. Like it's a tough one. So no, the missing by a leg, and everybody's got those stories. I mean, it's tough, man.
And the funny thing, the last thing I'll say about it is again, there was like 9 little things that you toggle through on that app, and the best one I had, which I still remember this to this day, was again in golf, and it was a plus 1,100 basically, essentially, odds, and it was for 1,200, but then Ricky Fowler, a little bad beat, bogeyed 18 on this tournament, tied for the 10th spot with like 4 other people, and it brought my odds down. So that was a big one. But I also lost one that was plus 9,000, which Max Homa didn't finish in the top 5 in the Tour Championship, but the other 2 did win. But anyways, overall, I had to save those because it was tilting. And just in general, it's one of those things where, I mean, it happens. Don't get me wrong, it happens. And I love betting and stuff like that. And I'm not betting above my skis. If I lose $200 in a month, it's not gonna bankrupt me.
Yeah, you're not selling the car. Yeah, you'll be all right. But yeah, no, it is tilting. No, I get it. We've all been there. We've all been there. My next grievance.
Meanwhile, I got 2 bets in place right now.
Oh, I'm sure you do. My next grievance. I'll take us into what I think you have probably on there as well. Speaking of Uber, we're moving over to Uber Eats, slash DoorDash, whatever. The mistakes. So this year, we had quite a number of mistakes on the Uber Eats ads. Yes. Of course, the most famous one was Wingstop having the drink stopper thing, like the funnel for the thing in one of our. An update on that. So, for those who recall, the like nozzle or whatever fell into a drink, and they still put the soda top on, and they sent it to us with our food and everything. And so when we got it, I took a picture and like reached out to Wingstop on Twitter and was like, "What the hell is going on here?" And then the restaurant got in touch with me, the manager or whatever. He's like, "No problem. Like, let me get your address. We'll send you $100 in gift cards or whatever." Never received those, by the way.
Really?
Never. And like now,
you didn't reach back out to them?
No, because at a certain point I was like, all right, maybe they're busy or like they're coming or whatever. They've just never come. So now at this point it's been too long where it's like, all right, I can't like grasp for them now. That was like 5 months ago.
That's where we're different, man. I would go to the grave
Right,
with that.
you would show up to the restaurant. Where's my $100 a Wingstop? I mean, I did get reimbursed for it at the time, which was nice. But still, yeah, I was expecting two nice little $50 Wingstop gift cards heading my way, and the guy even got my address on the phone. So it's like, I don't know what happened. I think we hung up, and he's like, "F this guy." Like, I'm not giving him anything. But the gripe is just the Uber Eats mistakes that happen. And look, obviously, like, we're coming at this from a very privileged angle because, but at the same time, it's like the amount of times I've had like drivers show up and hand me a bag that says like Steven on it, and you're just like, that's not me. Or you open up the bag and it's like half of the things that you ordered, or it's just, I feel like, and I know for you, and I've had this as well in my neighborhood where like the driver will. I'll have to be watching out the window at the driver because I'll watch them like start walking up to the door 2 houses down, and I have to like stick my head out and be like, no, it's over here.
Over here.
Yeah. And it's like, to me, it's a very simple system. You place your order, everything's on the little receipt thing. The restaurant looks at that thing, they put everything into a bag, and they hand it to a guy, and the guy drives to your house and he hands it to you. Like, it seems like there shouldn't be
It's not that hard.
as many snafus as there are. But if for some reason, there always is something. And it's always a missing item, or the guy's, like, the craziest thing for me always is, how you follow the little car on the little map, and you're like, seeing the car? Dude, there's been times where I'm like, where the F is this guy going? Like, it'll be like, my house is here, and he'll be driving, and then he'll be like, doing some loop over here. And you're like, where are you going, buddy? Like, what are you doing? Flying around? Like, and then, like, there was a guy recently, God, I hate it so much. So the other day, or like a week or so ago, we ordered food. I'm following the guy on the map. The car hasn't moved for a good 15 minutes. It's like halfway to my house. It's on the side of the road or whatever.
Yeah.
It hasn't moved. I messaged the guy through the app. I'm like, hey, buddy, everything okay? And the guy's like, your fries spilled. And it's like, all right, we can deal with that when you get here. I don't understand what you've been doing for 15 minutes. What are you picking up all the fries on the floor?
Picking them all up?
Like, what's going on? And then he's like, do you still want me to come to your house? And I was like, well, yeah, the fries was like 1/5 of the meal. I'm not going to punt the whole meal. Like, we'll figure it out. Just bring it to me. Also, how does this happen? The bag's sealed. But like, but he literally was sitting on the side of the road for, like a good 20 minutes. Before he was like, and it's like, what is this guy doing? Like, sitting there just like with his head in his hands, like, oh no. It's like, what is going
what do I
on
do here?
But the Uber Eats mistakes is what tilts me a lot. And either the restaurant or the driver, any of these, it's just like, this should not be this hard.
Yeah, I think that when it comes down to Ubers, so we haven't gone over my Uber shenanigans.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to share this guy's profile, and I don't know if is it worth sharing?
I don't know. What's on it?
Well, his face and his name.
I might not want to do that.
So I saved it because I took a picture of it because
Yeah.
I said I need to talk about this.
Why don't you send it to me
Okay.
so I can at least look at it?
Have I not sent it to you before?
But I don't know if we want to let's put his face. I know there's only like 3 people watching this, but I don't want to put his face all over the internet.
Might get flagged.
Yeah.
All right, I sent it to you.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, so
Okay.
look at him. So
Yeah.
the problem is Jess hates Uber Eats. Now,
Okay.
she only hates Uber Eats because of the sole fact that she likes DoorDash better or something like that. I don't know why. It's the same thing.
I feel like it's all the same stuff.
I mean, it's the same thing with Lyft and Uber. Everyone's driving. Everyone's using both apps, stuff like that. So basically, this guy named Hytham.
Yeah, hyphen,
Okay.
basically.
I ordered. God, I don't even know what I ordered. It took so long. So I ordered it, and whenever you sit there and you wait for the guy to pop up,
Yeah.
or girl, whatever.
Right.
whoever it is. Oh yeah, in this case, Hytham is picking up your order.
Right.
So he picks it up. I see him coming on down the road or whatever. Meanwhile, he's delivered almost 1,900 deliveries. So
Yeah, a
you'd
lot
think-
of deliveries on that resume.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think, okay, this guy knows
Knows
how
the
to
drill.
for them. So the problem is, again, I've said this a million times on this podcast, that this area that I'm in is a gated community.
Yeah.
There's 3 gates, okay? 3 gates, 2 call boxes. The third
Right.
gate, which the GPS takes everyone to, doesn't have a call box.
Okay.
No idea why. I don't understand why they couldn't just add a call box in there. I mean, it's not that difficult.
Sure.
But he starts coming down the road. I see him coming towards gate 3, and I'm like, ugh. So I message him. I said, hey, go to gate 1 or 2 around the block. And you would think, if it's a gated community, just follow the gates.
Yeah,
just
it's usually
follow the fence. It's not that hard.
Right.
And then you see a call box and you go. It's just simple. It's simple directions, I guess.
Right.
So he gets to the second gate, comes in the complex, and I see his car. And again,
Right.
we've mentioned this a million times. When you see their car and you see your location, they see the same thing. They have to.
Right.
It's not rocket science where the app's out to get them, where then they make more problems. Because literally, this guy came in the place and was like, I can't find your building. I said, okay. And the funny thing is also, have you ever seen on Uber Eats where the car turns into a person with a backpack on?
Yeah, I think I've
Does that
seen
mean they're
it.
walking or?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, dude. That's all stuff. I had a guy delivered on a bike one of the times, and the little logo was like a bicycle guy. Which I'm sure in like the cities people are used to that, but like not around here.
So the dude gets in the complex. Says, I can't find your building. I said, go inside of garage B.
Sure.
Okay. It says it above the garage entrance, B or A. There's only 2 garages. It's 50% chance.
Right.
He texts back, A, question mark?
Oh God.
I said, no, B. Okay. And I said, go to the 3rd floor. You will see signs on the wall. Okay.
Yeah.
There's plenty of signs. Okay. Plenty of signs that tell you what building it is, where you're at, and all that kind of stuff. And the problem is, every delivery driver says, oh, I'm at 12929, which is the building literally right next to mine. Okay?
Right.
And the one thing about Jess is that she gives directions, and she says my directions suck, but
Sure.
her directions, she always like gives them like, I don't know the gazebo. I'm like, the gazebo? This guy doesn't even know where he's at right now.
Right.
Meanwhile, he has no idea what
Don't
a
start
gazebo
throwing in
is.
landmarks. Yeah.
He doesn't know what a gazebo is. We get in arguments / tiffs about this. Not really arguments, but it's kind of like a hilarious thing of who's going to get an Uber driver or a DoorDash who's terrible. So he gets to the complex. Again, we had the little ordeal about the garage. And meanwhile, I hate when Uber Eats drivers sit there and they don't respond to you. Like they're trying to figure it out themselves, but you're trying to tell them, hey, it's over here.
Right.
So anyways, he goes into garage A again and then goes out the front entrance of the complex. I'm like, dude, you're going farther away. So I am texting him and saying, did you just leave the complex? And he was like I can't find your building. I said, well, come back.
Oh God.
I'm getting pissed off at this point because it took him longer to be in the complex and find my place rather than get the food and come here. So I told him a bunch of times. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Basically, we went back and forth about where to go. And we're on the phone.
No.
Dude, we're on
this
the
is
phone
getting
at
more
this
and more
point. It is
awkward.
a phone call at this point.
Oh,
We're on the
no.
phone, and I hate
I'm sure
phone
you're very calm and cool and collected on the
I'm not, because I was starving, dude.
Yeah,
and
right.
I forgot what day this was of the week, and I was probably pissed off or I was sick or
Right.
something. And shocker, right? One of the 3. And all of a sudden, he finally says, okay, I'm at your building. I'll drop it off. And I said, okay. And usually when I'm on the phone with an Uber Eats driver, I
Right.
wait until they hang up.
Right,
Because
right,
when they
right.
hang up, then they got it.
Right,
So
right.
he hung up. And I was like, all right, Hytham's got it.
Right.
So Hytham delivered, and it said, delivered.
Oh no.
I got no picture, no nothing. I'm like, okay. I ended up going out to the front door, looked out, no package.
Nothing there.
And I called him back, and I said, Hytham. I don't know if I called him Hytham.
Right.
I don't know. I said, where'd you drop
Where'd
this
you
off
put
at?
it? Yeah.
And he's like, 302. I said, not my 302.
Oh,
And he said,
no.
He said, 12 some other number, 959 or something like that. I said, not my building. We went over this 3 times. I
Oh,
even typed it in the
God.
chat. And I said, where are you? So I went on Google and looked up which building he dropped it off at. And I said, you gotta come back and get that, dude, because I'm not going out and getting this. First of all, I had no pants on. Second of all,
like usual.
like usual. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, dude, I'm in my own house. You're supposed to drop it off the door so I can open it up, grab it, and go.
Yeah.
So he goes back and gets it. I said, you need to go to the other end of the parking garage. The other end.
Are you following his little guy on the map at this point?
No,
Or no, he's already delivered it, so it's not even tracking him anymore.
It's not tracking anymore. That's the problem.
Right. So he could have just gone home. Right? He should have done that.
So he ends up going back and getting it, coming back, and he said, okay, I'll be there soon. Okay. So I sit there.
Right. Oh, no.
Another 5 minutes passes. And I look at Jess, and I said, I'm about to throw this. I'm about to throw my phone off this balcony.
Right.
And she was like, I can tell you're getting a little irritated. And I'm like, yeah, I am a little irritated because Hytham won't listen to me.
Here's the real question: is what did you order?
I think it was Chinese, dude.
Okay. So yeah, you wanted your Kung Pao chicken.
Yeah, some of that nature. It was definitely an Asian descent.
Sure.
And I ended up literally trying to get this guy to come to the garage. Lo and behold, I looked at Jess and I said, F it. I said, I'm putting pants on. I'm going out and finding this dude.
Yeah. So now you're going to off to go find him in the dark in the parking lot or whatever.
I put pants on, and I went
screaming his name.
And I went outside, and lo and behold, the dude is literally in his car, or not in his car, leaning against his car, waiting for me to come out and get it.
Oh, jeez.
By the way, in our interactions, he sat there and kept asking for me to come out. No, the point of DoorDash
right.
or any of these things is
drop it at the door and dash.
Drop at the door and get the hell out of here.
Dash.
But the problem is that this guy was sitting against his car. He's like, oh, finally. I said, it's right there, dude.
Oh, God.
Like, what are you doing?
I would have paid money to watch this interaction at that point.
Oh, my God. Dude, and he was like, oh, finally, it was a tough one. And I said, yeah, I'm sure it is. I grabbed it and left.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I'm the type of person where I think
I know. You go on the app and you're ready to give him the thumbs down.
In America, this is where we say, hey, you don't do a good job. Get the hell out.
Right.
We don't do this garbage where we say, oh, he had a bad trip or something like that. No, don't tell me to come out and get my Chinese or go into garage A.
After it was paraded around the entire complex.
Yes, when I see his car going around and not even getting close, I mean, literally. You go, it's the easiest thing in the world. Once you get in the gate, you go to garage B. You can see my little circle, my little blue circle on the GPS. Right. You go in garage B. You go up to the third floor. The door's right there.
It doesn't sound too different.
You don't even have to go downstairs. Right. I mean, or upstairs or whatever, like you have to do in some complexes. But the problem is that when you go out there and you do this, don't expect me to give you 5 stars. This guy for sure only got 2 because I'm not going to be that much of an ass. Gave him 2 stars. And contacted the help desk trying to get a refund because I'm cheap.
Nice.
And that's what I did because I'm tired of this stuff where these guys say, oh, I have 2,000 deliveries and their deliveries suck. It's like you need to. It's not that hard.
I've had the guys before too. Like this is rare, but I've had the guys who will be like, all right, I'm outside. And like they expect you to like walk up to their car window so they can like hand it out to you. It's like, what are you talking about here? I'm like, what are we doing,
dude? And I will say that was a bad time, but the worst one I think I told you about this was like last year or something like that, where the guy's wearing like, of course he's wearing like a Clinton Portis jersey that's faded and all the white numbering is ripped off and all that stuff. And the refund worked? No, it did not because they never got back to me. And the issue is that last year the guy had that jersey on, right? He was all the way at garage A and was so flustered. I think he was about to like, like, I don't know. He was about to do something. Run over himself with his own car or something like that. Put it in drive and just run in front of it and lay down.
Right.
Because I had to go out there it was near when I first moved in, probably about a year after. The dude literally made me come on. I walked farther to his car than I do to my own car where it's parked.
He probably travel to the restaurant and back. You probably went further than that.
It was unbelievable. I just don't understand. It's not that difficult.
Right.
When you have an Uber Eats driver or a DoorDash driver, you can literally see where my location is, and it's going to take you exactly
the little
there.
blink and blue thing that says
and I understand that you have like for me. Okay, if it comes in garage B and it's or not garage, it's gate 3. Then it comes through there. Okay, I understand when stuff like that happens, but don't sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I can't get in here." Okay, everyone gets in at some point. You can see my blue dot. Figure it out. Like walk around for a second.
That's always my thinking. I'm always like 70 people were able to do this before with no issue, and then you happen to the 71st happens to be a problem.
Hey,
That's always my thinking.
I'm not trying to be an ass here, but if you see someone on that app that has the name Rachel or something like that, you're like, all right, she's gonna get here, you know, or Matthew, like they're gonna get here. Never had any problems. But Hytham, he can hightail it out of here. He's out.
All right, we'll move on. That's a good one. I'm fully with you on the Uber Eats mistakes. We'll do one more each for the grievances. Because Mike chows down on a cookie here. So, I mean, some of my honorable mentions, ones I probably won't get into. One of them I had, just Masson not being able to watch on any of the freaking YouTube TVs or Hulu Live Sports or any of that stuff. Like, that's just, at this point, is inexcusable. On the same lines, I had too many streaming services and things switching all the time. It's always like, oh, yeah, you can watch that show on Peacock. And it's like, oh, no, Hulu actually just bought that show. So now you have to watch it on Hulu. And then it's like, no, Paramount Plus. And like, so it's like, there's just too many of those services. And then like all these shows keep getting bought by all the different services and being moved around, which is really freaking annoying. I also had on here wannabe influencers. Like, I don't know about you, but I have some people that like you went to like high school with that like you can tell on like Instagram or whatever, they're trying to like be like mom influencers or like parent influencers or whatever, and they're like doing like, here's like 5 cool crafts that you and your kids can do or whatever, and it's like, yeah, like we all know this stuff, like you're not teaching me anything.
Okay, I can draw a picture with them, it's fine.
And then I do have NFL specifically, but stadium fights is one of mine where it's like, look, like there are I admit there are some circumstances where it's like, yeah, you may have to, scrap a little bit. Like, let's say somebody's causing a problem, and like it's like, hey, look, like, something needs to happen. But the amount of fight videos you see on Twitter or TikTok or whatever, where it's clearly just like 4 drunk fat people just like wailing on each other in the second quarter of the game, and like kids are like diving out of the way, and like old people are diving out of the way, and it's like, I don't know. I've always been in the mindset where it's just like, I mean, I'm trying to go to a game just to like have a good time and watch the game. And like some people are going there just like, I'm if something happens today, something's going to happen today. It's like, why go to a football game and be like, I'm seeking out a fight with like a fan of the other team or whatever. And I know like certain fan bases love to do this more than others. Some NFC East fan bases in particular probably like to do this more than others. But like, that always like drives me a little nuts where it's like, it's not going to keep me from going to the games, but at the same time, you're kind of like, can't you just watch the stupid football game? Like, I understand talking smack to like fans of the other team or whatever, like that's all fun and games. But like when you start being like, oh yeah, I'm going to go kick that guy's ass because he's wearing a, a Cowboys jersey or whatever. It's like, come on, like what are we doing here? Can't we just be adults? Like it drives me nuts.
Yeah. And the funny thing about that is that's another grievance that you can add on to it is, angry drunk friends. Like, you remember back in the day when you had to have, like, when you went out, you had to like watch over, Ricky over here or whoever it is, because whenever they get drunk,
they can't hold their liquor and they're always looking for a fight or something.
Yeah, they're always like, you said something to me, and you're like, wait, who is this guy?
Right.
Like it's like the person. I mean, I literally knew. Now, you always wanted, back in college, I never really got any fights or anything like that. I've witnessed them, but I never gotten any of them. But you always wanted the guys that were, like, ready to brawl, but could hold their own and, like, not have to, like, fight.
Right.
They were on your side, but they, in case some idiot started trying to come at you, but they weren't, like, someone you had to look out for. Because the thing about it is, I had a few of those back in the day. Lo and behold, like they're not, really friends anymore because I didn't keep in touch with them. But those ones where, again, they start drinking or something like that, and then maybe they might be a lightweight or something like that, but all of a sudden they take too many shots, and all of a sudden you sit there, and this guy is trying to do the people's elbow against some random person at the bar. Like, you're like, what are you doing? It's like, and again, I've always been a loyal friend to a lot of different people.
Sure.
And I've tried to stay loyal for a long, long time. But when you cross it a little too much, I'm just like, yeah, you're out, man. Like,
yeah, because you're just like, I'm here to have a good time. I want to watch the game. There's nothing wrong with having a couple of pops and having a good time and whatever. But like, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I feel like every week you're seeing videos on social media of like fans fighting in like the third, third section or whatever. Like it just happens all the time. You're just like, God, like, can you guys just chill out? Can we please just chill out, everybody?
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's a little bit it's over the top. It's like and it's kind of getting there at this point where it's just like, oh my God, everybody just relax.
Yeah. There's another time where I went to, now again, someone actually asked me one time, actually it might have been this past weekend, that have I ever seen a fight with Philly fans? And
Sure.
I just never been to a game against Philly, at FedEx Field or whatever.
Right.
But I've been to a ton of Cowboys games because, of course, Cowboys,
Right.
Redskins, all that kind of stuff. It's a classic rivalry, one of the best top 5 rivalries in all of sports, I think. But when you think about it, us and Cowboys fans, we bicker at each other. We don't sit there and just drop the gloves and start going after it. That's the problem, is that when you think about it, when you go after somebody trying to sort of fight, you can get banned. You can do all and then tons of things. You can get it charged. All these different things happen. The problem is that that's mainly certain teams' fan bases. Now, Cowboys fan bases, a lot of them are bandwagon anyways. So you sit there, you sit
America's
there,
team, baby.
Yeah, you sit there and they start talking trash about some player that played back in the 80s, something like that, and you're like, it's irrelevant arguments or whatever, and we go back and forth or whatever. And I've been to many of those, and they're fun. It's nice to bicker, and hopefully if you win, you win.
Trash talk is fine. I mean, trash talk is trash talk. Like that, it is what it is.
There's a fine line though. It's like walking to the end of the pier. Like you can get to the end of the pier, but don't jump off to the point where you're throwing fists. Get to the end of the pier. Then be like, all right, whatever. That's how it is. And then you're just done. Because fun banter is good at games, but when it gets to the point where all of a sudden, like you said, this guy's like taking off his jersey, and then all of a sudden his like bare chest in like 30-degree weather, because
and it's always guys in like horrible shape too. It's always like those are the guys getting in fights where it's like, God, and their shirts always come off, but somehow, some way, the shirts always come off. That's just how it goes.
Dude, I had an old roommate like that one time, man. I don't know if I ever told you about that guy. Should we get into it right now, or should I save it for another episode?
I don't know. It just depends on how. If this is a Mike story, we got maybe 45 minutes coming up here.
All right. I'll shorten it down very heavily because I got one more grievance to go after. So this old roommate, he's definitely not listening because I haven't talked to him in 7 years. So if he's listening, wow! Thanks for the loyalty.
He's Nashville Preds. Remember the guy that?
He's Predators. He's keeping tabs on me.
Right.
So, lo and behold, this guy was an old roommate, and he was nuts. So he came in from Pennsylvania, and when we were going to school, we were looking for roommates or whatever, and the guy was transferring in, and I looked on this, whatever the roommate finder or something like that back in the day, and he was my roommate for the first year, and he was kind of a off character, and I'm not going to get into the specifics that made him off, but he was the type of guy that was just not all there, I think. And he was studying to be a physical therapist, something like that. And there would be negative, 1,000 -% that I would ever go to this guy because he was so dumb.
Right.
And he would study for like 12 hours a day, right? And he would try to come and drink beers with us or whatever, down in the basement or whatever. And he was just, he was just so awkward because, like, there'd be times where, like, he would, like, chime in and, like, we look at each other like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
Right.
like, weird stuff, man. Like, we're watching, like, a football game, and he's like, yo, man, this guy, like, this guy have a mom? Or this guy, is this guy have, like, a brother or sister? Like, you're like, what are you talking about, man? like, you, like, talk about their, like Donovan McNabb's family or something like that. You're like, what are you talking about, dude? And then all of a sudden, he would get drunk within like 2 beers, and like he would be going nuts. Like he would be like laughing and like trying to jump on you, and it was weird.
Don't like
dude.
that.
It was a weird dude, man. So speaking of fans that are crazy, we would go, and it was our senior year, mine and my buddy's senior year, and he cried basically, by the way, to let him room with us for senior year. Lo and behold, terrible decision. And he always, whenever he got drunk, he always tried to fight me.
Oh.
Which, put it this way, I would kick this kid's ass all
Sure.
the way to Montana.
Right.
But the problem is this guy was 5'7", went
Right.
to the gym 3 times a day in between his studying, and when he got drunk, he was one of those guys. You would look
Beer
at
muscles too.
him. Yeah. You would look at him, and he would be like, like all of a sudden he thinks he's the Hulk.
Right. You can usually see it in the eyes when they start getting the crazy eyes.
Oh yeah. So here's a quick story about one night that went a little awry, senior year. So it's not really a grievance, but he's like the type of person that you want to stay away from.
Sure.
So senior year, Tech is playing Florida State or somebody on like Saturday night or something like that. My other roommate Kevin, who you've heard of before and stuff like that, he was at some like exam on a Saturday, which is insane.
Oh.
And I had like 3 friends over or whatever, 2 girls, 1 guy or whatever. We're all just hanging out watching the game. So this guy, his name is DJ, his nickname was, comes in and he like grabs a beer, sits there and joins. Of course, we've all been a little bit lubricated,
Sure.
We've been hanging out for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. We've been playing like Pong and like hanging out, just talking, listening to music, and then we've been watching the game. He comes in around the second quarter, and all of a sudden he starts asking these weird questions like, oh yeah. So Virginia Tech was founded in 1862, or so. It's like we're like, wait, okay, like weird. And meanwhile, my friends are kind of like, this guy's a little off from last year when he grew up junior year. So all of a sudden, every time I say something, he always I felt like his dad. Like he always wanted to get my approval because like for 2 years, and I lived with him, I was like the head of the household in junior year, and senior year I was too. Like I was the guy who paid the bill, did this, did that, whatever.
Right.
And I kind of kept him in line. So, and I was also the key cog for a lot of friend groups or whatever. And the difference is when he came in there, he always tried to find my approval, so he talked too much when I was in the conversation. So I could be sitting there doing nothing, he wouldn't talk. But if I'm in the conversation, this dude is
Yeah, he's throwing in his quips.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm saying something. And for about 10 minutes, every time I spoke, like 10 words, he would be like, oh, yeah. He started interrupting me, right? So I looked over at him, and I'm like after like the 7th interruption, I said, hey, DJ, dude, just calm down, dude. Calm down. Like you're interrupting me a lot, dude. Like, relax. And my buddy, this other guy that I knew, he was like, what the hell's wrong with this dude? Like, he looked over at me and was like, what the hell? Like, this guy's like interrupting me.
Oh, God.
All of a sudden, he got mad.
Oh,
like,
no.
Mad. And then he ended up getting up out of the chair and like standing up and like starts cussing me out.
Ooh, fighting back, DJ.
During a Tech football game where we're all just hanging out.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm in this oversized recliner that reclines way too far back because it's college.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there.
You're in a vulnerable position.
And I'm in a vulnerable position. I'm just sitting there looking at him, just like saying like I've seen this rodeo before where he gets a little too upset. And all of a sudden, he starts trying to I'm like, dude, you're embarrassing yourself, dude. Just sit down, man. And he was like, what did you say to me? He starts going off, like, right? And meanwhile, this guy had like maybe 1.5 Coors Lights.
Sure.
He's like, and he goes off the rails. And then my buddy's like, what the hell is happening right now? He's like, look. All of a sudden, DJ takes his shirt off.
Nice.
And literally, John Elway's
good move
across the living room. Like,
nice.
I mean, like literally, like he was throwing a penalty flag.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's bare chested.
Nice. Of course.
And of course, he's not really a man, so it's all bare. There's no
Sure.
hair there. And he says, sure. And all of a sudden, he just comes at me. And then like I'm like, dude, like I'm not gonna fight you, so I don't know what you want. He's like, let's go out there. Let's take us outside. I'm like, and all I said was, you were interrupting me, dude. That's all I said to him. Meanwhile, so knowing my buddy finally gets out of his exam, comes in, and it was like, what the hell is happening right now?
Shirtless guy.
Guy.
Mike's like leaning all the way back here. Mike's like, I'm not gonna fight you.
And my buddy comes in and he's like, what the hell? So DJ goes over to Kevin and says like, he's disrespecting me. And meanwhile, Kevin, I've known Kevin since I was 6 years old. There's zero chance Kevin will ever not take my side and fight me for you.
Right.
Makes no sense. So
there's a miscalculation on his part.
Yeah, and he did that a few different times over the course of 2 years. So all of a sudden, Kevin comes up to me and he's like, dude, what the hell's going on? And DJ's in the kitchen, like, pacing back and forth. Like, he was, like, ready to, like, Apollo Creed with me. And all of a sudden, like, it escalated to the point where, like, I said something under my breath. Like, I don't know what this bee is doing, right? And he was like,
oh, God.
What did you say? What did you say? And all of a sudden, like, everyone else, like, all right, we're out of here. We're out of here. They left. He, like, runs outside and says, like, we're taking this outside. And all of a sudden he runs outside, slams the door, and I started laughing. And he looked through the window and saw me laughing, and he came inside and tried to charge me again. Dude, this guy was insane. And it was nuts. And again, there was a lot more detail that went on in the night, but I'm trying to keep it short.
Sure.
That's one of the guys, again, that you want to avoid when it comes to a stadium or talking to them. One of the two, whatever it may be, that guy is exactly what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, whenever you see the crazy eyes, like those are the ones where you're like, I gotta just remove myself from the situation, because you're like, I don't know what this guy's gonna try and do here. No, that makes sense.
So my last grievance I'll talk about, and I know that story went about a couple minutes, but
it wasn't too bad.
I tried to keep it as short as possible. My last grievance is, okay, my name's Mike Cerrone. Everyone should know that. Okay. I'm not a sports expert, but
Sure.
I have a lot of opinions on sports. I have a lot of know-how in sports.
Got some hot takes.
I've been around sports my entire life. You and I are very similar where, some people, whether it be friends, family, whoever, to make conversation, they always say, hey, what's your take on this? Or what's your take on that?
Sure.
And I mean, just at Christmas Eve, I had two guys. One guy I don't think I've ever talked to in my life started asking me about people. And someone asked me about the Commanders, and someone asked me about, how do I think about the whole entire monumental move thing. Everyone wants, I shouldn't say that. Everyone asks me about things. Now, do they care? Who knows? Who knows if they care or not about it?
Are they just asking you to tell you their opinion sometimes?
Yes.
That
yeah,
tends
exactly.
To be the case.
So when it came down to it, I can't stand people that go on social media and try to take time out of their day to comment on something you posted, which means like a video or even just a repost or something
like a TikTok perhaps.
Yeah, TikTok. So did you catch up on that, by the way?
No. I was waiting to hear it from you.
You don't need to catch up on it. Because I ended the conversation by saying Merry Christmas because I'm not talking to this guy ever.
Yeah.
This guy goes on there. And, of course, last week was a solo show. I posted something about Mike Tomlin, got a lot of views, got some likes, got some poll votes, all that kind of stuff. And this guy comes on and says, Mike Tomlin would be an absolute awful choice, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, I think he would be a pretty good choice because, he's had 16, 17 seasons, and he hasn't had worse than a 500 record. So this guy starts saying things which I'm disproving. And, again, it's beyond me and not worth my time to go. And I've gotten a lot better at this. Like, some stuff back in high school and stuff like that used to really tilt me when people, like trolls and stuff like that. But this guy keeps talking about Mike Tomlin and how, he's gone 500 before, and that's the worst record you could ever have. And, like, he's saying 500 is the absolute worst record you could have. And I'm like, okay, well, I say that to 10 teams who are looking for a coach right now. You know, that, say that to the Commanders who haven't had a 500 record in 3 years, stuff like that. And he keeps saying, like, well, that doesn't measure success. Look at his playoff record.
Oh, God. Okay.
And I said, so, of course, what I do. I go to Football Reference, and I say, well, Shanahan, Mike Vrabel, and like two other guys or whatever have never won the Super Bowl, but they're successful over Mike Tomlin. He said, well, they all have a better playoff record than him. I said, well, Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl. They haven't. And then also I said, by your standards, Mark Levy with the Bills, when they went to 4 straight Super Bowls, is not successful. He says, well, he still has a better playoff record than Tomlin. I said, but he hasn't won a Super Bowl. So this goes along with the argument that I get so tilted with every year about the stupidity when people, and I was in bed last night thinking about this because I was so frustrated. When you sit there and say, oh, Tom Brady's the GOAT because he has 7 rings. Okay, well, no one thinks Bill Russell's the GOAT, and he has 11 rings. Okay,
Right.
no one thinks Robert Ory is the second best player of all time because he has 7 rings or whatever. No one thinks that. So if things are uniform for the most part all the way through sports, or at least the 4 major ones, you can't sit there and say rings. Okay, literally everyone's right now will say that Kyle Shanahan is a top 5 coach in the NFL right now, easily. Even Sean McVay. Okay, but Kyle Shanahan has never won a Super Bowl. Does that mean he suck? No, it doesn't mean he sucks. He's been 7 years for a head coach, and he, lost it in Atlanta, when they could have won the Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator and different things like that. But people sit there and they just irritate the hell out of me because when you disprove a statement that they say, tell them this is wrong because of this, they keep repeating the same thing but in a different form. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, are you not hearing what I'm saying? You're not computing what I'm saying here. Because, again, Ben, let me ask you. Do you think Bill Russell is a top 5 player of all time?
Probably not at this point.
I mean, could you really – I mean, let's be honest here. I can name people right off the bat that are better than Bill Russell.
Right. I mean,
MJ, Kobe, LeBron, Shaq, Kareem.
Right.
Okay?
Sure.
And I'm not even – and I just throw those names out. Right. Magic Johnson's in my top 3. So it's like I'm just saying, you're thinking about names like that, and he has 11 rings. Wilt Chamberlain was a foot taller than every single person in the NBA, pretty much. But everyone thinks that it's just people don't have good statements because they sit there and they want to go and a close friend of ours that we worked for a long time. He goes along with the ring thing.
Right.
And and I've gotten into it with him a little bit, and it's like, if you want to go with the ring comment, that's fine, but have something to back it up. The rings and the Super Bowl wins and all that kind of success, that's a side dish to the main course. Why do you think this guy is the GOAT? You can't sit there and say this guy is the GOAT because he has the most rings. That's not an argument. Okay, because it's a team sport. He didn't score 117 points in the NBA a game. Okay, he had teammates that did that. Just like when I always say Peyton Manning's better than Tom Brady. It's because Peyton Manning didn't have any defenses. Tom Brady did. Okay, Tom Brady was, his second year in the league or whatever, and he won 2 Super Bowls, the second, third year in the league or something like that. You think he was that good when he came out of college that he won 2 Super Bowls in 3 years? It's like, no. It's like he had great defenses. But it's like when people sit there, and again, I'm going to block that guy or something to the point where I don't want to see any notifications from that guy on TikTok. It just tilts me because like I made a simple comment about I think we should sign Mike Tomlin, blah 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 blah. But of course he's like, it'd be awful because he's not a good coach, something like that. You can't say he's not a good coach, and I disproved that by he's 171 and 100, dude. That's 64% or something like that. If you give me a 64% chance to win a game, I will take that all day, every day, being a Washington Redskins / Commanders. Same with you. You got a decent coach now, so now you guys are winning. When you guys, before Jim Caldwell and all of them, because Jim Caldwell's a pretty good coach for the most part. Okay,
right.
Some of those coaches you guys had, like Matt Patricia and stuff like that, you would love to have Mike Tomlin over Matt Patricia.
Oh, so yeah, 100 times out of 100.
I'm telling you right now, it's just insanity. These people that are idiots that sit there and think like that their opinion really matters because they say the same thing that all these other bimbos say out there. And I don't even know why I shared the whole entire point where, oh, yeah, maybe people want to know my opinion or not. But I get asked at least 5 times a day about what my opinion is. I mean, even teachers in my schools sit there and they say like, so those Commanders, what do you think about them, Mr. Cerrone? And I'm like, first of all, I don't really want to talk about them right now. Like, I just want to go home. It's like stupid stuff like that. But it's like, I'm done.
Okay. Oh, no worries.
I didn't finish this drink.
I know. That's. I wanted to move into a list here that I wanted to get our opinions
Happy Festivus
on before we. Yeah. I mean, this is what it's about. This is the entire show is supposed to be complaints. So you can't knock you for making some complaints.
On the truths.
What flavor are you working with here?
You know, I grabbed 2 randos. There's an original.
Looks like a watermelon, maybe.
This is a watermelon sugar high.
Yeah. Nice. Love that. I just love all the Truly lemonades. They're just the best.
Dude, so good.
So this list is the most annoying fan bases in sports, and so there's obviously some ones that are kind of obvious, and we don't even need to spend too much time on. I mean, Duke is always going to be in the running. New York Yankees are always going to be in the running. Number 3 on their list is Chicago Bears fans, which is an interesting one. I mean, I guess their point of having them on the list is that, like, the Bears fans always think they're, like, one guy away or, like, one mistake away from, like, being in contention, when in reality, like, they're always, like, 50 things away. And I guess that's annoying to people. I mean, as a Lions fan, being in the same division as them, they're not the most annoying fans, I'd say, even in the division. But I guess people hate on the Bears fans, whatever. Notre Dame football fans is on the list here.
They always think they're too good.
They haven't won a national championship in 32 years. There's also, this says there's about 32 million fans who claim Notre Dame is their team despite never attending the school. Right. Notre Dame and Duke and some of those schools, some of those teams are always the ones where it's like people have zero connection to that school at all, and they'll just become fans of that team, which can be annoying. Patriots fans next on the list.
Yeah.
Which, I feel like that was more when, like, Brady was winning him Super Bowls. I mean, at this point, it's kind of like Patriots suck. So it's like, you could be as annoying as you want at this point. Pittsburgh Penguins fans.
Here's the thing, and I'm wearing the Yins hat today out of support. But when it comes to Pitt fans, now I did say that Steelers fans are very spoiled because they complain about everything.
Sure.
I mean, literally, like you'll sit there and you'll talk, and again, here goes along with the what does Mike think type thing, because people will sit there and again, I've been around a lot of Pittsburgh fans over the last few years, and it's like when they sit there and they say like, Deontay Johnson sucks, he's butterfingers all the time.
Sure.
Well, meanwhile, he had like 2 or 3 seasons where he had over 1,000 yards and 90 catches. Like, any team would love to have that.
Right.
Okay. And not to mention that any team would love to have a coach that is 8-8 3 times out of 17 years, and he had 6 seasons where he had double-digit wins.
Right.
Like, we haven't had double-digit wins. We have that maybe what? Actually, the Redskins haven't had more than 10 wins, I think, since 1998 or something like that. Like, it's unbelievable. And I just think that when it comes down to Pens fans, some of them are realistic. I will say that. But when it comes down to the ones that are a little nuts, they sit there and they hate on certain people. Like, I don't really hate any Pens. I just know that the Pittsburgh fans hate Tom Wilson and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, I think Pens fans are kind of annoying because we don't really like them.
Yeah, this says they're kind of spoiled, but and they'll be miserable. But it's like you guys have had some of the best hockey players in the league on your team. You've won 5 Stanley Cups since '84. That sort of thing. Maple Leafs fans are on the list as well. I guess their point on this one is they scrutinize everything every player on the team does. Where it's, I guess that's they're just annoying. That's what this says. I don't really interact that much with Maple Leafs fans. I don't have a big opinion on that. Lakers fans. So this would be another team that people will just like, and they'll have zero connection to LA. Like, they're like, oh, I like Kobe Bryant as a kid, so I'm a Lakers fan. Or I like Shaq as a kid, so I'm a Lakers fan. So the whole thing, and we've talked about this before in the program, with fandoms, it's if you want to do that, sure, you can go ahead and do that. But, if that team wins a title or, things like that, you can't talk as much as you would if that's, I have a deep connection to this team. Right. If you're a fake bandwagon Lakers fan, sure, you can root for them. You can be happy when they win. But, you can't talk smack to anybody else about the Lakers because you're a fake Lakers fan. You know what I mean? Right. It's all right, you can do that, but I can never take you seriously as a sports fan if you do that. And I've got a close buddy of mine who is a Yankees fan for no real reason. He's an Eagles fan with no connection, and a Duke fan. And he has zero connection to any of those 3 teams. And this guy will, talk ass when those teams, beat any of my teams.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, dude, what's your connection to New York City again? What's your connection to Philadelphia again? You can't talk ass when you're talking like that,
Well, here's the thing. Also, with fans like that, is when it comes down to having people who I wouldn't say really bandwagoners. I would say that like I have a really close buddy that was a roommate of mine back freshman year of college, and we still are pretty close to this day for the most part. We play a lot of Xbox. We don't live near each other. We're like 2.5 hours apart, but we're pretty close. And I would say for the most part, and because he lived like 2 or 3 hours away, he didn't really adopt the Caps and all this kind of team. So he's a Stars fan, a Steelers fan, a Yankees fan, and like what's the other one I'm thinking of? What's the team? What's the league I'm missing? Hockey.
So you got hockey, you got baseball, basketball. Does he have?
He has no basketball. Okay. No basketball. So it's like it's all over the place a little bit. But at the same time, he just picked teams. I mean, again, you have to think about it this way, okay? Hockey is like his number one sport, and the funny thing about it is he picked the Stars. I mean, of all teams.
Right.
Like, it's random, you know?
Yeah.
But he doesn't sit there and like, because he comes up for the Stars games all the time, but he doesn't sit there and say, like, your team sucks. You know?
Right. That's the thing. It's like you can be a fan of whatever team you want to be. Just know that, like, I will never take you seriously as a sports fan. You know, like, that's just not going to happen. And I'm not going to take any crap from you, when your team is beating mine. That's the thing. So Lakers fans, there's a lot of fake Lakers fans. I'll run through a couple of these other ones. I mean, Warriors fans, Warriors fans got annoying that as the team continued to get better and better year after year. And it's like I kind of liked the early Warriors teams because I was like, man, they built this team out of the draft, which is kind of fun to see. Like Kerr was one of the first coaches that was kind of doing the small ball lineup in the finals. Right. I've always been a Draymond guy. Kind of hard to be a Draymond guy these days. So like I like those teams. But yeah, there was a certain point where it was like, all right, this is getting freaking annoying. Like these guys are kind of, Steph is kind of getting annoying, all this sort of stuff. Draymond's obviously a nutcase. Right. Cardinals fans in baseball. Yeah, I mean, Cardinals fans are always kind of like, they think of themselves as kind of like the gatekeepers of the sport a lot of the time, where they're like, because, people like say like, the Cardinals fans are like the best fans in baseball, and they take that seriously. They think they are. And like, so they'll like talk down to you on Twitter and stuff. They're annoying. Steelers fans, they're on the list. It says like, did you know the Steelers have won 6 Super Bowls? If not, their fans will tell you.
Oh yeah, you go to a lot of restaurants down there, and there's murals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I ate something bad in Pittsburgh, man. I've been rough.
What do you think it was?
I don't know. I went to Permanis and stuff like that.
Right.
But dude, I got fed something up there that was.
Oh no.
And it's been about 4 days. So.
Oof.
It's like a continuation thing where I'm not going to get into it.
Sure,
but
sure.
At the same time, it's an off-air topic.
Yeah. Cleveland Browns happening in your toilet. That's for sure. Red Sox fans, yeah. I mean, we all know. I mean, they're annoying too because it was always like Yankees fans are the worst, and like, go Red Sox. And then like the Red Sox just like turned into the Yankees. They were like also paying all this money for all their players, and like they just got annoying. Penn State football, yeah, I'd say that whole
Pennsylvania on here.
There is. I mean, I've always been annoyed by the whole like Penn State world up there, Happy Valley type stuff. Like it's like a cult. Raptors fans. Why is that on the list? It's like who cares about Raptors fans?
Who cares about the Raptors?
This list kind of sucks. Michigan football. I mean, obviously, I hate them because I'm a Michigan State fan. Michigan fans also like similar to what I said in the Cardinals. Like they'll like look down on other fan bases across college football and stuff. And like Cowboys fans, we know that. Eagles fans, we know that. Astros fans. I mean, the most annoying thing, and you and I know this because like we experienced it with the Nats. It was like. Because all the other baseball fans were kind of rooting for the Nats in that World Series because everyone was like, screw the Astros, the freaking cheaters. And then you still had like all these Astros fans that would be like, actually, everybody was cheating. And it's like, no, that's not true. Sure, were there probably a couple teams that were doing something similar? Sure, probably. Did they get written about and caught? And did they like win a World Series off of it? No. So you're the ones that we're going to all be mad at. Right. And like the Astros fans would be unbelievably annoying for the years after and like they still to this day, I mean, they'll be like, because like, why does everybody hate us? And it's like, because you guys are so freaking annoying. Like, and you guys are, and it's not like those guys were likable,
right?
Carlos Correa and Altuve and all those guys.
Altuve had an itch on his shirt. It wasn't him trying to talk about
the whole thing with the buzzer and that was
that was a crazy custodian doing the banging.
That was so annoying. Those guys during that whole scandal and like everything, like they were the worst.
Meanwhile, the Nats kicked your ass, so
Right,
deal
right.
with it.
There you go.
Oh,
Man, I'm hitting the definitely hitting the wall.
hey, by the way, we got to go over the Christmas movies. By the way, we got to have a consensus list because
Oh,
you had some qualms about. Is that the right word?
Qualms.
About qualms
I might
about.
have to do that a different night,
Oh,
a
yeah.
different
You're
episode.
running out of steam.
Yeah, I'm running out of steam. We're almost at the hour 20 mark, but I do want to definitely do Daily Dozen, and
Okay.
then we got some other couple things, and then we'll hit the bricks.
So you ready for it then?
Let's knock out the Daily Dozen. Let me switch up the music to our typical Daily Dozen music.
Let me take another sip so I
You
so
know,
I
I
get
like
primed
the
up.
I like the Christmas music, of course.
We have to have another show though, where we stream live, and we both have some alcoholic beverages. Obviously,
Right.
you've had a rough month. Put it this way.
I mean,
Okay?
dude, because like when I did this show like a month ago, I was like complaining about my cough, and then it went away, and I was feeling great, and then like last week,
Well, that's why I said today is that
Came back.
people were asking about they're like, oh, you know, the Festivus show, that's gonna be fun, and I was like, yeah, you know, and again, that's why I didn't promote it as much because I knew you weren't gonna be having some lubrication as well.
Sure.
But at the same time, I was like, you know, I'll do that another time.
Right.
But we obviously have some stuff coming up. So, the Barstool Daily Dozen trivia.
Yes.
Okay, this trivia for the 2 times that I've done it by myself has been complete butt.
Okay. Okay. That means we're due. We're due.
Okay, so the Barstool Daily Dozen trivia, game number 156 for today, December 26th, 2023. First, the NFL.
Knock it out.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna knock it out. We're gonna get it done. At only 33 years old, Raheem Morris became the head coach of this NFC South team in 2009 and led him to a 10-6 record in
It's
2010.
the Bucks, right?
Yes, I believe it is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Easy does it.
Did he
See?
coach? Who's he coaching now? Is he the one coaching the Texans?
He's
or-
no, that's D'Amico Ryans. He's a defensive coordinator for somebody that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
He's a defensive coordinator. I know that, but I'm losing the train of thought. Oh my god!
I know. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Everybody having to listen to that. I apologize. I can't reach the mute button quick enough.
I know. It's
Oh, this is easy. This is our
Hall
boy.
of Famer Jim Palmer pitched his entire MLB career with this American League team from 65 to 84, winning 3 Cy Youngs and 3 World Series titles. That would be the Baltimore Orioles. Easy does it. During the 2017 NHL expansion draft, the the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Okay, alcohol's getting to me now. Las Vegas Golden Knights selected this 3-time Stanley Cup winning goaltender from Pittsburgh. That would be
Marc-Andre.
Andre.
There's Dan coming in clutch. He was the Rams defensive coordinator. Is Raheem Morris. So that's where he is now. That's what Dan said here. So I put it up on the screen. There you go.
Rams DC. I did share it with him because I knew he could actually tune in at least by commenting.
Nice.
What is the capital of Northern Ireland?
Okay. The first one that popped in my head is Belfast.
Ooh.
Because I think Dublin. Yeah, I'm Belfast. Go with Belfast.
All right, I'm gonna go with Belfast.
Because it went to my head immediately first.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We're rolling. We're 4 for 4 right now.
I got something on my lip.
I'm sorry.
Dude, you just saw it last week. I ended up at the very end of the show. I was doing the outro, and I almost bit. Oh my god, this guy he's falling apart. I almost ate the mic because I was like this, and I smacked into it. Oh, it was not a good look. All right, this is on you. 2
What is it?
celebs in
Oh,
the celebrity
celebs,
mashup.
okay.
That would be.
Oh, I know it. If you
Anna,
know.
is that Anna? Who's that? Who's that?
No,
girl?
that's Shailene Woodley. That's the old
Yeah. She's from
Aaron
the
Rodgers flame.
Yeah, she's from the. There's a funny story about her. I'll tell you in a second.
And this is Jeremy Piven, I believe, on the outside.
Piven.
Jeremy Piven from Entourage.
It's not Chris Pratt.
No, that's Piven's head. Pivster.
Man,
Yeah.
nice pull. So a funny story about Shailene Woodley. I used to gather on Mondays back in high school at my buddy's house, and we'd watch Secret Life of an American Teenager.
Oh yeah. No, I know that show. Yeah.
We used
funny.
to actually, it was like 7 of us, and we went to my buddy's house on every Monday to watch
That's
that
funny.
show. And the
Yeah.
show sucked, but
Right,
it was.
right.
But
yeah, that was
anyways.
her like big break.
Yeah, not really a big break.
Also,
but she definitely
Another piece of
started.
trivia: she played Marissa's sister in season 1 of the OC when like she was really young, and then they replaced her with a different person later on in the show.
The OC, man, that had so much potential, then just fell flat on its face.
I'm reading the oral history right now of the OC, the book, and yeah, as you said, like first, second season, solid. Third season, fourth season, awful. And I own them all on DVD. They're right upstairs.
What was the song? Was it? It wasn't
California.
Ocean Avenue, right? Oh, California.
Yeah.
California. Okay, I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, don't ask me to sing right now.
Yeah, you might die. Introduced in 1963 as Coca-Cola's first Diet Cola, this brand of soda saw a decline after the introduction of Diet Coke and was officially discontinued in 2020. So 2020 wasn't that long ago,
No. Okay, so we know it's a Coca-Cola product.
but it's not
It's
Diet
not.
Coke.
It's not a Coke Zero because like Coke Zero in 1963. That's too early for that. It's not Diet Coke like you said. It's not like a. It's not like a Dr. Pepper or something like that. If that even is a Coke product. What's like a weird? What's like a weird soda? Like yeah, not a Mr. Pibb.
Is it? It's I'm trying to think of. So if it's it's a Coke product, you're saying?
Yeah, it's like, so yeah, it's not like a Coke. It's not that. It's like another.
You remember like Crystal Pepsi and stuff like that?
Right. Yeah.
Would it be something of that nature, or would it have to be? I wouldn't think it would have to be like Dr. Pepper or Sprite.
And it's something that got discontinued, and so like, yeah, it can't be any of these ones that you can go see at the store right now. What's like? It's like Tab. Wasn't Tab a soda?
I don't think that was a Coke product though.
Yeah, I don't know. We can
All right,
always skip this one.
We'll
and come
skip it.
back
We'll
to
skip
it.
it.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it.
All right, TV. This should be good.
Television. Debuting in 2006, this MTV dating show had moms and dads picking potential replacement suitors for their
Classic.
kids' current significant other.
Parental Control.
That's you.
That is an MTV classic. We got to do an MTV draft one time because there's some great MTV shows.
Yeah, back in the
Made.
day.
Remember Made?
Obviously, the original Jersey Shore.
Yeah, I mean, I still rewatch it all the time.
Real World.
Pimp My Ride, like all that
Oh
stuff.
my God, Exhibit.
Yeah.
The songs "Take My Breath Away," "Great Balls of Fire," and
You know
"Danger
this, you know
Zone"
this.
were part of the soundtrack of this 1986 blockbuster action drama, Topo Gun. Top Gun.
Topo Chico Gun.
Topo Chico.
Oh,
With
God.
over 1.3 billion Spotify.
Oh, there you go. I've infected you through the internet.
With over 1.3 billion Spotify streams, this Canadian band is most known for their 2013 hit song "Rude." Why you gotta be so?
Yeah, it's that one.
rude?
It is that one. Give me a sec. Yeah, you keep singing it, and I think
Why
that'll
you
help
gotta
me pull
be
it.
so rude?
They're definitely, it's like a one-hit wonder type band. Like, there's no chance they have any other songs. that are
Marry
interesting.
that girl. Marry her.
I
anyway.
believe this is a band called Magic. Type in Magic and see if that comes up.
I think that might be right. Magic with the X Factor.
It comes up.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So yeah, this is the only one that we're having trouble with.
Of course, Dan's here for the Rams defensive coordinator. There's out.
Yeah. Dan
Won't help us.
Zero help. Brand of soda saw decline after introduction of Diet Coke. So again, discontinued in 2020. So it's not on the shelves these days. I mean, I only drink freaking like Diet Coke, so it's like I'm not a big help here. Trying to think of like cans. So like,
Coke. It's not like
is there like an orange can of something?
it's not like Clo. Not
It's not
Clo.
mellow yellow, right?
I don't think I don't think it can be one of those extra ones.
I don't know. The only reason why I said Tab was because I know Tab was something that like the astronauts had or something. Like I think that was something that would like
What
be
about-
brought up on the plane.
It's not like obviously they have Coke Classic. And why is my hair like halfway in, halfway out? It's not like Coke Classic or Coke.
No, I don't think it's a Coke. Like Coke this, unless I'm just not thinking of it. Because like how many? I mean, again, we know Coke Zero, we know Coke Zero Sugar, Coke, Cherry Coke. Like I don't think it's any of those.
Huh.
That's
Thanks.
helpful.
Thanks a lot. All right.
Do me
Go
a
back
favor.
Go back to Florida, Dan.
We can always double dip. So I want you to go with Tab. Type TAB.
Dude, if you get this right, I'll Venmo you $1 right now.
Because, dude, I'm telling you, astronauts drink this. It's just TAB. Astronauts drink this. Look at that.
Oh, my God.
Look at that. I'm telling you, astronauts drank this.
Oh, my God.
I'm
Even
dying.
with
This
his
is my flu game.
Even with his plague. Where's
Look at the stats. Show stats.
I think it says show stats.
This is my flu game.
All
What if
here
we're
we
like
go.
the only people that got it perfect? 395. I feel like we're in great shape. Dude, only 16% got the
I gotta
celebrity
do
match.
that math here. So 395 divided by 38,695. We're in the 1%.
Dude. And look at that. Celebrity mashup 16%. Only 16% got Shailene Woodley and Jeremy Piven.
That's kind of weird, though. I would have gotten that probably at least on my double dip.
TV, I mean, I feel like the millennials would know that. The music one was tough. Like, I mean, that's true. But like MLB, I mean, anybody in the like that's a fan of an NL East. Oh, Dan said they drink Tang. Well, I thought it was Tab, and it helped us get the right answer. So, I guess we're right. Whatever.
Tang.
Tang.
Oh, because Tang was a powder.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking when I said Tab, and that ended up being the right answer. So we're in some weird area here in my brain where things are going well.
It starts with the letter T.
It starts with the letter T. Hey, we did it. We did it. I mean, that's
we're like Boots and Dora.
Piven was a hard one, says Dan. Yeah, Jeremy Piven. So the only I feel like I was rewatching some episodes of Entourage recently, so that probably helped me out there. But yeah, that was all right. 9 for 9. That's a good way to maybe not finish off the year, because I think we're going to do a New Year's Eve. Well, we won't do it by the time New Year's Eve rolls around, but we'll do a New Year's themed show next week, and I'll hopefully be able to partake in any sort of libations.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I was doing something else.
But
oh my God, this guy needs to.
Did you see Hawkinson torn ACL and MCL?
Dude, I saw that, man.
I mean, it happened in the Lions game, so I watched it happen.
We know what's funny. I knew they had a knee injury, but he looked fine. But at the same time, I have one fantasy football team, and it's because a kid on my golf team created it and asked me to be in it, and my team is just wrecking everybody, dude. Like, it's bad. I mean, and I have TJ.
This?
Wait, hold on a second.
Wait, it says horny eyes. Stay inside.
Wait a second. I gotta look at that chat.
Stay inside. Horny eyes. Collecting souls. Devil's Hour is 7 p.m. now. What the hell is this? Who the hell is this?
Are you typing back to him?
I mean, can I?
Yeah, I think so. Horny. Here, I'll type back to him. Who
What
are
is
you?
Devil's Hour? That's what I want to know.
Horny eyes.
Horny eyes. Yeah, with a EY. What the hell is this? Your soul is mine now. I'm dying. This is what's happening. Horny eyes got me. Also, why'd you spell horny wrong? That's not how you spell horny eyes.
Yeah. I would say, isn't it horny?
I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on. Horny eyes. I gotta pull this up on my phone. See if we can see the thing.
Oh, man.
Like, say more stuff, horny eyes. Like, I don't know. Let me pull it up here.
This person.
Now it's not even showing up in the chat. It's like gone. The messages are gone on my phone.
Is it a
bot?
Yeah, no, not even a bot. Like, check and see. Can you click on their profile?
Oh, can I filter the message? Okay, here it is. Horny eyes, your soul is mine now. What the hell does that mean? Horny eyes.
I'm
I'm flabbergasted right now. I don't know what's happening. Horny eyes.
This goes up there with the caller from
Okay.
WGMU.
Horny eyes has 1 subscriber and 4 videos. Actually, why am I not just pulling it up on here while we're here?
Oh,
Horny
boy.
eyes. I think Horny eyes is still watching because it says 2 watchers and one of them's Dan, and he's certainly not horny eyes.
Yeah, are you sure?
He's a horny guy. He's not horny eye. We got. Okay, so I think this is this is Horny Eyes and Horny Eyes.
Horny eyes.
1 subscriber, 4 videos. I don't know if I want to click any of these.
Don't click it. I want to find out. Can I message them back?
More about this channel. 1 subscriber, 4 videos, 5 views. I mean, this is just like one of the strangest things I've ever seen.
I'm gonna ask them a question.
Yeah,
What
why don't
do
you
you-
ask them something? I might click on one of their videos. I mean, it's YouTube. It's not going to be like porn.
I'm gonna ask. Wow.
Okay. So yeah, this is clearly. I don't know what any of this is. I'm I'm bailing. Oh my god, what is happening?
Horny eyes.
Yeah. Welcome to Festivus.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
yeah. Man, we got some weird people on YouTube, man. YouTube is a weird place. I mean, you got Horny peepers. Oh my!
Horny eyes. That's just one. I mean, we've never had that happen before, unless Dan made a fake YouTube account just to like.
No way, oh, man.
us.
That would.
That's a lot of work. I don't
It's a lot of work. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Anyways, let's see. What were we gonna talk?
whoa.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know who this Horny Eyes is.
That's what happens, man. When you have the Festivus show,
Yeah.
and I wish you were not on antibiotics right now. We would have a time of our lives.
Yeah.
with Horny
No,
eyes.
that's. I mean, I'm flabbergasted at Horny Eyes. Well, I think we found our new best fan of the show.
Imagine just sitting here and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, we're going to outro the show here. And then all of a sudden Horny Eyes comments saying that we've sold our souls to the devil.
Yeah.
And-
So, again, Horny Eyes said, stay inside was the first message.
Yep.
So it's
there
like,
it is.
okay, all right, we'll stay inside. But then collecting souls was the second message. And then the third message was Devil's Hour is 7 p.m. now. We're 8:06 Eastern Standard Time.
So we're in the clear then.
So we're past Devil's Hour.
Yeah.
And then she said, your soul is mine now. Which I assume, again, I'm assuming it's a she. But yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to wake up at 2 a.m. and thinking about that.
She's still watching. They're still watching.
I mean, they're still watching. Yeah. both of those eyes.
Both those
So
Horny eyes.
what we were going to say at the end of the freaking show before we got derailed is, yeah, I mean, just for, again, if you're listening, we know a lot of the people listen to the podcast version is, we'll talk about this maybe more next episode or in the new year or whatever, but the plan for the show overall is, as you've already noticed if you've been listening the past couple months, is a lot lighter on the sports side, a lot heavier on like the pop culture side. So that is going to probably be kind of how things are going forward, where, yeah, when we were doing the Contender and things like that, and we were the DC sports show, that sort of thing, we're talking all DC sports, we're doing Caps post games and the playoffs and all that stuff. Really good, fun stuff. But at the same time, Mike and I love so much more stuff than just that. So I think, from a sports level, we'll, of course, always be talking sports because that's what we do. We will, of course, still touch on some DC sports when we feel like it. But we'll also zoom out a little bit more to, like, national sports stories and conversations. Oh, my God. And we're also going to dive into the stuff we like to talk about. I mean, TVs, movies, music, whatever. Like, I mean, you and I like to BS about a lot of different things. And so we may even be rebranding the name of the show. We may be looking at some new logos. So keep an eye on the social media channels at the DC Crossover and at Cerrone 16, as well as the TikTok DC Crossover podcast, YouTube channel, etc. Because, yeah, we're thinking some big stuff for next year. That's for sure. Is that fair to say?
I would honestly, I'm going to put it in these really easy terms. We have done different reiterations of this show, but
Yeah.
in this sense, when me and Ben were talking about it, now when we started and we rebranded and all that kind of stuff, the Nats were winning, the Caps were winning, all this kind of stuff.
Now
But
they all
when it-
suck.
Yeah, now they're all, for the most part, rebuilding, doing all this kind of stuff. So I always revert back to Ben's dad coming up to me. I forgot exactly when he actually did this, but
It was at the Mexican place.
Oh yeah, right. It was years ago, and his dad says, "Man, I love those topics, man. Those non-sports topics are great. I love the topics about water and stuff." And like he tells me that, and then we were like, "All right, see you later." And it's like his dad always like laughs. It makes me laugh, and I will never forget that. So when it comes down to this show, it's hard to sit there and say, "All right, are we gonna talk about the Caps or the Wizards or whoever?"
Right.
So what we want to do in this new iteration of the crossover is, like Ben said, we might change the name, logo. We're obviously going to, keep the same TikToks and all that kind of stuff. But what we're going to probably do is change the handles, possibly, if we change the name.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. But at the same time, we have to look at, what is more plausible? Is it talk about some big topics and give our quick, qualms and opinions about those, and then talk about the fun stuff? Because, again, we've gone over this stuff. Me and Ben have been doing this thing for, years, to the point where we have different ideas from time to time, and sometimes things just run their course to the point where maybe we got to switch things up. And as of right now, we're talking about possibly doing betting segments, obviously, as we've done before, and pop culture segments and all these different things, to the point where what should we do that's going to entertain people the most? And right now we're kind of in that phase of these are our ideas. What are we going to put in place? So
Yeah. People are going to be more interested in us talking about the best cheeseburgers in fast food versus C.J. Abrams' OPS. Like that's what it comes down to. And it's more enjoyable for us.
Because again, you look at TikTok and stuff like that, and you see, a lot of these podcasts and stuff like that. And we love sports. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to go away from sports totally as a whole, but we are going to try and do things similar to what other people do, in that, we're going to rate the best, like you said, cheeseburgers of all the fast food restaurants, or we're going to do
Who's got the horniest eyes?
Yeah, who's got nice eyes that are horny?
Shailene Woodley had some good eyes. We saw it on the thing.
Yeah,
she's up there.
the horniness is.
I mean, Sydney Sweeney eyes. We know we love those eyes.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think who else has really, really good horny eyes.
Eyes.
I mean,
They make you.
I've always been an Anne Hathaway eyes. Always look pretty good to me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Blake Lively. Blake Lively's got some good eyes.
She's got some weird horny eyes, man.
Yeah, they're pretty horny. Overly, they're above average horniness.
Yes. They're on the different playing field. But yeah, for sure, that's what we're gonna do. So look out for that. That'll be starting probably closer in early to mid-January, something about that. So definitely stay tuned for that. But overall,
we will have John Z on the program in 2024.
Yes, but again, look out for. I still gotta get that Chip guy. Remember that Chip guy that I wrote his name down somewhere on my phone?
Oh, because it was a guy that ranked the chips on some article. We were like, we got to have this guy on the show because this is a horrible list.
Dude, what if I bring him on the show and he's gonna be like, what article are you talking about? And I'm gonna be like,
because it was from 2 years ago.
This article you wrote 3 years ago.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll have plenty of fun next year. I mean, not that we aren't having fun, clearly, but we'll do some fun stuff next year. So stay tuned for that.
We're gonna inject some.
It's going to be different. It's going to be a little bit different.
Some horniness in the show.
I mean, if there's one thing that it's horny. So we're going to bring that to the table each and every day. So. As I go ahead and die immediately as we end this. Yes, do not weep at my grave. Go out and drink and live and be merry. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Hope you enjoy this episode over, it's the holidays here through the end of the year, so you got some time on your hands. So hope you've enjoyed the last hour and 45 minutes. And before we sign off, again, shout out to Horny Eyes for taking our souls and bringing a screeching halt to the end of this program. Yeah, that was you really accomplished your goal, Horny Eyes.
Yeah, the souls are gone.
And I'm going to follow you as soon as we end this show. I'm going to subscribe to her channel and watch some more Indian people make out, I guess. So follow the show on everything at the DC Crossover Net Throne 16, on TikTok, DC Crossover Podcast, on YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. I'll let you say some words here before I sign off, Mike, but Merry Christmas. We'll be back on the air soon. Hopefully I'll be able to drink again, and I won't be dead.
So we might, now I'm thinking about it, Ben, is I think that what we're going to do is we might have a kickoff episode that we might stream and have some festive drinks or something of that nature. Now, it won't be our Festivus show, but I'm thinking about this on the fly, that once we rebrand and do all these different things, we might have an introductory episode to our new and improved show. But the ball's rolling here. Horny Eyes got me revving. She's revving my engine.
There's one thing that really gets this show going, it's Horny Eyes, and I think that gets those juices flowing up here and down there. We'll see you guys soon. This has been another episode of the DC Crossover. Sayonara.
Merry Christmas, John C.